get to join this conversation this morning. I am excited about this day. I'm excited about this day because I am choosing to make this a great day. Um, kind of felt a little discouraged this morning because I have so many things on my to-do list, and I got going, and I always wish that I gotten up earlier, but getting up earlier requires you to go to bed earlier, and I haven't been doing a great job of that. There's so many things on the to-do list, and it can feel overwhelming sometimes because it's just like, when am I gonna get all of these things done? And the crazy thing is that even if I don't get it all done, life is just gonna still go on. Maybe people will be upset with me. Maybe there'll be some negative consequences, but life will still go on. And there'll be a time where, Lord's willing, I'll be in my 90s, maybe even in my early hundreds, be in my hundreds. I'm not gonna say early, I'll be in my hundreds. And I don't know if I'm gonna look back this far and say, man, I wish I had gotten that so and so done in time, or oh, look at all those things that I still have on my to-do list from when I was in my 40s. I don't think I'm gonna do that. So that's kind of been something I've been thinking about a lot. I don't want to drop the ball on anything. I want to make sure that I'm doing everything I need to do. So I'm committed to that. But it's also just a realization that we are all humans, and we're not gonna get everything done perfectly. And I didn't realize that I'm like an overachiever, or my father-in-law used to always say that I'm very ambitious. He's like, "You're so ambitious," and I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm like actually like just not doing anything." And we can be so hard on ourselves. I don't know where that came from. I guess just growing up, I always tried to do the best at everything I did, do my best, and you kind of grow up that way, and then you one day realize that actually I've been doing a really great job, but my standards are so high for myself that I could beat myself up. So I'm not saying that it's bad to have high standards, and I'm not saying that I do everything perfectly by any means. But what I am saying is that I'm a human. You are a human. I'm kind of rambling a little bit as I get going on this live this morning, and I have something I do want to talk about. So I will talk about something that is actually related to the kind of work that I do here as the family land lawyer, as the attorney, as the CEO and managing attorney of McClendon Law and Consulting. I am going to talk about some of those things in just a moment, but I wanted to just kind of get into it as y'all join this live with some reflections that I was having this morning. But I actually have been watching these videos on YouTube. I don't know who does them. It could be AI. I hope that there's at least some truth to it. I don't know. But it's these videos where they talk about how prehistoric humans lived and the different things that our ancestors did, and how they survived, how they thrived, and even how they contributed to society in such a way that we're still able to enjoy some of the things that they worked on in those prehistoric times. And just watching those videos is so eye-opening because they just weren't doing the stuff we were doing. They didn't have court to go to. They didn't have briefs to prepare or memos to review. They didn't have contracts to review. They probably had some kind of a verbal contract with their neighbors, but it wasn't like the kind of stuff we have with force majeure and acts of God and all these different clauses that we put in our contracts. So just looking at how they lived compared to how we live and how stressed we are over how am I going to pay my mortgage, which is important, but in prehistoric times, their biggest thing was, can I find the nearest cave to get out of this rainstorm? And they didn't have to pay mortgage to get there. I don't know what kind of rules they had. They might have had some rules like, you, if I'm in the cave first and you want to come, then you got to give me some berries. I don't know what their rules were, but I suspect that life was not as complicated as our lives are. But saying all that to say, somehow we got to find a way to not live life so complicatedly. I don't know if any of y'all know what I mean. Put something in the chat. Let me know that you're here. If you relate to what I'm saying, let me know. But as y'all see, I am standing in what looks like a jungle, but it's not a jungle. It is my backyard garden. I was, I normally wouldn't like put myself out there like this because I don't like people to see me not in my best light, and that's something I'm working on. Hence, me coming on here, after taking a walk, not doing anything to get ready for the day except for washing my face and, all the basics, brush my teeth, all that stuff. But no like fancy things to get ready for the day. And I don't be fancy anyway, but less fancy right now. Wanting to just put myself out there as myself, not being so concerned about, oh, I got to make sure people see me a certain way because y'all don't. I'm just me, and I'm all right. I think I'm all right, but I'm in my garden, and so I wouldn't normally show this to people because it's like, you know, look at it, look at it, it's all overgrown. Those are actually some tomatoes over there in that bed. My husband did that. He put tomatoes, and he had my daughter to plant. I think they planted some peppers over there. So there's a little food out here, but there are also lots of weeds, a whole lot of weeds. Yeah, it's mostly weeds, and we live in like our backyard. It's kind of like a forest, a little mini forest. So the forest is coming into our garden. My husband and I started this garden. I don't know. It's been a long time. It's before my youngest was born. I don't know, 10 years ago, maybe even more. I don't know. We haven't been in this house for more than 10 years. So when we first moved to the house, we put this garden out here, and we did a lot of work to get it to where we could put vegetables in and it wasn't overgrown with weeds and things from the backyard. Um, and we were working in it really well. Around the COVID time, we were working at it all the time. We were out here every day working and get this garden going. I mean, like, thinking about it, that was a horrible time and it was a wonderful time. There's a lot of stuff going on, but in my home, we were working in the garden, we were cooking our own meals, we're spending a lot of downtime with each other. And that was nice. We didn't have meetings and schedules and appointments and all that stuff. So um, those were some good times. And the reason why I came in this garden today again, see it, it's crazy. And when I look at it, I'm just like, can we ever get this garden the way we want it? And my husband probably gonna be like, what are you doing? Like, of course we can. He's very like, yes, we can do it. We can do it. But when I look at stuff, I get overwhelmed and I'm like, it's a lot. It's a whole lot. And I'm just like, how in the world am I gonna actually get this the way I want it to be? And I hope there's some gardeners, some farmers that tune into this. Give me some words of encouragement. Let me know what y'all would do in a situation like this. But I would say, just from my own understanding of life, that there are things I can do to get it under control. And what the first thing I would have to do is make a decision. I have to make a decision that I'm going to get this garden under control. And I have not made that decision for a long time. I have been focused on other things. I've been working to get my business where it needs to be, get my law firm, been working on client cases, working to get things done for my clients. And I'm also, of course, I'm a wife, I'm a mom. I'm doing my best to take care of my family. Not always the way that I want because just so many things, but I'm doing the best that I can. And so getting out in the garden is not something that has been on my agenda. It's not been on my to-do list. And y'all might be like, Veronica, why are you talking to us about gardening? I promise you I'm gonna get to something that's actually within my realm of expertise. But looking at this garden, it's a lot. And but if I try to do it all at once, it's not gonna get done. And if I try to like, I don't know, just like just jump in there with no kind of plan or no kind of intention, it's probably gonna be hard. But if I decide that I'm gonna maybe work on one of these beds, maybe I'll work on that one bed right there. Just kind of, y'all can't even see it. See it? There you go. I work on that bed right there, kind of clean that one out. That would be progress. Or maybe we can come in and cut the grass, or um, maybe we get a weed eater thing and get all the things we can. Or maybe we can pull up all the big things that are not supposed to be here, and then we can work on the small things. But either way, I think with a plan, we can get this garden the way it needs to be and with an intention. And the reason why I brought this up, I'm thinking about heirs property. Aha, heirs property. There we go. I told you I was going to get to something relevant. And a lot of people, they look at it and they're just like, oh my gosh, I got 100 years worth of tangled title that I'm dealing with. I'm looking at my great grandmother's property, my great great grandmother, great great grandfather's property, and she had 5 children. When they died, they each had 3 or 4 children apiece, and some of those children had 1 or 2 children. These bugs trying to get me, and so now we got 100 people. We got 200 people who all own an interest in this family land. It's so overwhelming. And you could feel like me and be like, I'm not even going out there and I'm not gonna show people my mess. Like that's how I felt. Like this is my I come out here sometimes. We have chickens. Let's see, can I see the chickens? And see that house is chickens and there's 2 right now. We used to have 4, 2 passed away. We're looking to buy some more, but obviously we got other things going on. But I come out here and make sure the chickens get fed, get water. My kids usually handle that. But if for some reason they can't, then I'll come out here. But otherwise, I don't be coming out here as much because it's so overwhelming. But I'm just saying that because it's how Heirs property can feel. It's like I'm looking at years and years and years of property that's been passed of it's the property been passed down over the years. People have died. I gotta figure out how am I going to map out this family tree. How am I gonna get in touch with all these people? It can be a lot. And so just like with my garden, if I want to get this garden under control, first thing I gotta do is decide that this is gonna be a priority of mine. So if you want to get your heirs property under control, you have to decide that's gonna be a priority of yours. You have to say, I'm gonna spend X amount of time every day working on this heirs property issue. And again, for me, look at this garden. If it's just me, it's gonna take a long time. But maybe if I bring my husband and my children out here and we all work on it at the same time, we'll make some progress. And even if we're not all working on it at the same time, I might work on the corner in the morning and maybe when my kids get up, they might come out here and work on that corner a little bit more. And my husband throughout the day, he might come to work on it a little bit more. What I'm saying is more hands make the work light. I can't say it's gonna be straight light, but it's lighter. So with heirs property, it's the same thing. Getting a team together. I always tell people get a steering committee. If your great great grandparent had 5 children, maybe you get a person from each of those 5 branches to be on the steering committee. But now we're looking at a few generations, so we might even need to have make sure we have representation from all 5 of those branches, but we might need multiple team members from each branch. And we say, hey, y'all work on Grandma Annie Bell's property interest. Y'all build out her family tree. Y'all got that Grandma Annie Bell had 8 kids. Y'all are responsible for figuring out the names of all 8 of those children. When were they born? When did they die? Who were their children? Were they married? Where did they live? And this is something that helps you with your heirs property, but it also can be actually kind of fun to start digging into your family history like that. And you get people, a lot of people that we work with, they've met cousins they didn't know about, and they actually are forming relationships with people who they've not been connected to in multiple years or at all. And they're getting connected with those folks. So just thinking about it again with my garden, and I'm getting ideas as I talk to y'all. I could get my church, folks from my church out here, because we have a lot of people in our church who are interested in gardening. Some of them don't have a yard like we do, or they may have one and they don't even know where to start. Maybe they can start gardening by coming to help us at our house. So if you are watching and you go to my church, you know where we go. Let me know if you're interested. I actually have had a few people say they were, and I say I'll let you know, and I haven't let you know. So I'm gonna let people know. We actually could probably use some help in this garden. So even with heirs property, they don't have to be your family if they're helping you. It could be a friend who loves genealogy, who loves going on ancestry and doing research. It could be someone at the courthouse who, I've been to some of these courthouses and I'm like, man, y'all need something to do because there ain't nobody coming in here. It's a small courthouse. I know y'all bored. All y'all doing is sitting around talking about who all kinds of stuff. I be hearing stuff. I'm like, why y'all talking about this? I know I'm the only other person in here, but I am a other person. So why y'all having this conversation with a stranger in the room? But anyhow, I digress. Go to the courthouse, make you a friend, and be like, hey, I'm trying to do some research on my family member and I need some help, or go to the library. Librarians love to help. Here in Macon Bibb County, we have a genealogist at the Washington Library, Washington Memorial Library. I think her name is Muriel, and she loves helping people with their family history, building it out. So maybe you meet a friend at the library or you go to your local genealogical society. I was working with a family who owns property in Henry County, and we learned about this group. Um, I cannot remember Blacksville Historical Society or something like that. But it's a group of people in this small community. It's a historically small African American community that was formed right after Reconstruction, right around Reconstruction, I think. And there's people there who know about that community. They may not know about my community, but they would know about theirs. So when you're working on heirs property, sometimes you got to bring friends in, people that you know well, some people you don't know as well. Bring them in, and y'all work together to get your garden in order. Let's see what else. Looking at this garden, is there any other insights? I'm just getting insights from the garden. I'm. This is how life works. I guess we get lessons from being outside, being in nature. Um, when I look around in my yard, there are a lot of different types of weeds. So when I think about heirs property, there are a lot of different types of challenges that you face when you're working on heirs property. And so I have this, let's see if I can turn it over here without messing up my whole setup. Yeah, see that? There's this thing, I'm gonna go walk over there. This thing here, I think it's a pine tree actually. I guess that's what it is. It's a baby pine. Um, a baby pine. It's like a teenager, y'all. It's too big. Um, but a baby pine or a teenager pine, probably in elementary school. Um, they gotta be treated differently than I don't know, those Jimson weeds. Jimson weed, let's see. That gotta be treated way different. I gotta have gloves, thick gloves for that one, because that Jimson weed will tear your hands up. If y'all know what I'm talking about, let me know. The reason why I know why some of these things are is because my 12-year-old has always been interested in plants. I knew what pines looked like because be on pine plantations, but Jimson weed, I didn't know what that was, but she told me. But yeah, you need different tools to work with these different types of weeds. Some of them gonna require just your fingers, and some of them gonna require you using your whole body to pull it up, and some of them might require you digging a shovel to pull those weeds out. You ever tried to dig a dandelion weed out the ground when it's like really big? Those roots are thick, and you can't always get the whole thing out just by pulling it. Sometimes you gotta dig the roots out, because if you leave a little bit of that root, then they're gonna come back. So that's how it is with heirs property. How is it like heirs property? There's just so many challenges that people can face. Sometimes you got to figure out how we're gonna pay the taxes. While we're clearing the title, we still got to keep the taxes paid. We got to deal with people encroaching. That's what all these weeds are, encroaching on our garden, and that's because we let them. A lot of people are letting their neighbors encroach on their property. They have not visited the property like I hadn't visited my garden. They haven't visited their property in a long time. And so they're allowing people to move boundary lines, move fences, put pieces of their buildings. They're like building buildings on people's land and cutting, every year they might cut a little bit more of when they're preparing their fields, they're cutting their fields, cutting them down, and they might just do an extra row onto your land. Then next year they're doing another extra row, and then they're just slowly creeping over. We're allowing them to do that, and so there's a lot of challenges that come up. You got to be aware. You got to be vigilant. You got to know what you're seeing. You see something, you need to say something. You saw, are those footprints? Or did that, was that tree moved? It was there last time and now it's not. Like, who's moving stuff from my property? Got to pay attention to those things and actually deal with those challenges. So I could talk about this all day. I'm grateful that I had the thought to come out here in this garden and show y'all what we're working with. Ideally, I'm doing this daily um talk. Ideally, I come out here every day and y'all gonna be like, oh, that baby pine is not there anymore. Oh, look, that garden bed, she done cleaned it out. Oh, look at that, look at that. Oh, you can actually see the tomatoes now. maybe that'll happen. I'm not gonna commit to it because I got a lot of things on my list, but that would be nice, right? For y'all to kind of see the progress. Um, but I want y'all to see progress on y'all's heirs property. So if y'all live in the state of Georgia and or you have property located in the state of Georgia and you need help with your heirs property, you can reach out to our firm. We'd be happy to help you. My information will be in the description below once I get this video uploaded and whatever I do else with it. So you will have that information below. In addition, in addition, if you want to prevent your garden from becoming overgrown, your family property from becoming an heirs property situation, then you can talk with us about estate planning or talk with an estate planning attorney licensed in the state where you live. But if you live in the state of Georgia, reach out to us at McClendon Law and Consulting. We'll be happy to help you to get started on the estate plan. That's actually what I was going to talk about today. I was going to talk about how to get started with estate planning, but as soon as I stepped in this garden, heirs property just started popping up in my head. So thank you, God, for that idea. And I'll talk about how to get started with estate planning in one of these upcoming conversations. But anyhow, this is Attorney Veronica McClendon. This is another back porch talk, but I brought y'all to the backyard garden. And I look forward to talking to y'all again tomorrow. Y'all take care. Okay, Lowndes County. I thought I stopped the live feed, but for some reason it's not stopped announcing all y'all's comments. But y'all take care. I'm gonna go and log off now. This thing don't want me to stop. That's weird. Why can't I stop my live feed? Y'all ain't go with me. I'm not actual speed or anything like that. Anybody like that. I gotta go. I get ready. End stream. End. All right. Well, y'all gonna see me fumble with this while I turn this phone off or something. This thing does not want me to end this live. It was a great conversation. Thank y'all for tuning in. So weird. Okay.